Creativity seems to contain these four elements. So first off, there is this sense of preparation. So you have to think, right? So you have to consider what your goal is, what you have to work with, keep everything in memory. Then there's a sort of incubation period. You have to kind of sit on it. And so here we see unconscious thought. Now we saw in an earlier chapter that there was something called unconscious thought theory that stated that it was better in certain conditions. So this isn't really saying necessarily that it's better, but it is saying that people do engage in unconscious thought and that that's a key part of this process. So there's the conscious and intentional preparation and then just sort of the incubation, sort of sit on it. And then there's sometimes this illumination or insight. And that is what's often called this aha moment, right? Where a person is just sort of walking and maybe daydreaming and suddenly they are sort of hit with the solution to this problem. So it's the idea is that the unconscious processing bursts into conscious awareness. And then verification. Test your solution, right? Does it work? These are sort of the steps in creativity. And we do know that people in a positive mood are more creative. If you want employees to be creative, it's good to have a good positive mood in the workplace. Another thing that's really important for creativity, especially in employees, is they have to feel safe to make a mistake. Because if you're going to be creative, you're likely to do something that has not been done before. So mistakes are likely. And the only way you're going to get creativity in a workplace is if those mistakes are accepted and allowed and not punished. So there are certainly sort of surrounding contextual issues that affect creativity. Another way of looking at creativity is to see its absence, perhaps. And so this is what we are looking at when we look at what's called a set. So being in a set is the tendency to use an established method for solving problems and not having sort of a fresher approach. And so we can demonstrate this problem-solving set with what we see here is the 9-dot problem, and your job is to draw 4 straight lines passing through all 9 of those dots. But the trick is you can't lift your pencil once you get started. So pause this video and on any old scratch piece of paper just draw these 9 dots, okay, just like they are here, and then try and connect the 9 dots with your pencil or pen. Once you start making lines, you're limited to 4 straight lines and you can't pick up your pen from the page until you connect all 9 dots. So pause and give it a shot. So how did that go? I am not particularly good at this, I'll be honest. So I always would struggle with this until, now I've done it a few times and it's okay. So here we go. Line 1. Line 2. Oh, hey, what am I doing? I'm going beyond sort of the edges here. Line 3. And line 4. So forgive me for not actually going through the dots here. Just hard to draw on a trackpad. But the tendency is for most of us to start here and then stay within the confines of the box, right? And try to do something like that. But then we end up with too many lines, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5. The only way to do this with 4 lines is to extend outside of that boundary, like is shown here with the red line, and then connect the dots that way. So the 9 dots create sort of this assumption that you're supposed to stay in this little square, and it imposes this set way of thinking. And until we see beyond that square that's there, we're not able to solve this problem.